The famous Dyybuk in the times of Chofetz Chaim said that she was being tormented even on Shabbos, and that Shabbos only protects somebody who kept Shabbos. And since she was not a Shemerah Shabbos when she was living, so therefore Shabbos doesn't protect her. And the same is with Gehenom. The fires of Gehenom burn regularly on Shabbos for those that didn't keep Shabbos. But is that so? So it turns out the Chidah learns up in a pasuk in Vayakel. He brings down a Zohar. The pasuk says, "Lo yisavaru eish b'chol moshvei seichem b'yom Shabbos." Lo yisavaru eish b'chol moshvei seichem. What's b'chol moshvei seichem? So the Chidah in his Sefer Chomas Anuch, he says that he brings down a Zohar in Parshas Terumah. That the Zohar in Parshas Terumah says that Rishayim b'Gehenom b'yom Shabbos it's Nachim. In other words, the Gehenom, even though somebody's a Rasha and he's in Gehenom, still the fire still Shabbos comes and it protects him from that fire. However, Michali Shabbos it doesn't help. So that's Shabbos doesn't protect them. So that's that makes sure to keep Shabbos in this way. Shabbos will protect you even if Chas Hashem somebody's in Gehenom. That's the Zohar which the Chidah brings, and there are those that learn that that's what the Baal Turah means also in Vayakel. Pirishal Gehenom Shavis B'Shvilchem Gam Or Shalachem Yehei Shavis. That if your fire is Shavis, is quiet, is not burning on Shabbos, then Gehenom will not burn. However, if somebody is Machal Shabbos, then he does not have the protection of Shabbos, and Gehenom it runs on schedule even on Shabbos. That's this Zohar, and the Chofetz Chaim famously has a letter that he says that people should be makbid to be Makabel Shabbos early and to let Shabbos out late, because it seems that the protection of Shabbos is based on how much you're shomer, how much you do Shabbos, how much you do for Shabbos. That's how much of a protection you have from Shabbos. So he says that we should be Makabel Shabbos earlier and let Shabbos out later. This way, if Chas V'Shalom we have to go to Gehenom, we'll have that protection for longer. Our Shabbos is bigger. So it seems that clearly Shabbos only protects somebody who kept Shabbos and not somebody who didn't keep Shabbos. However, there's a Gemarah in Sanhedrin, and there's a Gemarah in Sanhedrin Daf Samach Amud Beis that seems to say clearly not like that. There's a famous Gemarah conversation that Rabbi Kiva had with Tornas Rufus HaRasha, and actually that medrash is extended a little bit more in the Sefer Karakemach from the Rabbeinu Bechaya. He brings down the rest of the story. The story is that there was a conversation with Rabbi Kiva and Tornas Rufus HaRasha. Tornas Rufus HaRasha didn't believe in. Didn't believe that he was a Shabbos, that he was a Eibishter, and Rabbi Kiva brought him a couple of proofs. The Gemara brings down the few proofs. One of them, he says, "Va'oid leichu b'dek b'kever avicha." You want a proof that there's a Shabbos? I'll tell you a proof. Go look at your father's kever. Tornas Rufus HaRasha should go to his father's kever, and v'tirek kol shisha yamim oshen oila mikivrei. If you go look, you'll see that there's fire, smoke coming out of his kever, out of his grave for 6 days. And urei ki b'Shabbos lo yihaya oshen oila, and b'Shabbos ein oila doesn't go up on Shabbos. So you'll see clearly that there's a difference between the 6 days of the week and Shabbos. And he went and he found that the Takabadik, and he found that the fire was burning during the week, in the weekdays, and Shabbos fire was not burning. So that alone is a kasha. Tornas Rufus HaRasha's father was not a Shemer Shabbos, and still we see that Gehenom was not burning, and Tornas Rufus HaRasha's father on Shabbos. So that seems to be seems to be a problem with the Zohar. How do we stem these two midrashim? The Zohar says that if you were not Shomer Shabbos, you don't get the protection of Shabbos. And the Chofetz Chaim took it even longer. It took it even further and said that the protection of Shabbos goes to the extent that you were Shomer Shabbos. But bottom line is the protection of Shabbos comes from Shmira Shabbos. And if you were not Shomer Shabbos, you don't have that protection. But the Gemarah seems to say that Turnasuvus HaRasha, his father had the protection even though he was clearly not a Shomer Shabbos. So I want to suggest a yishuv that there's a difference in between a yid and a goy. But first I want to just read off the rest of this story, the rest of the conversation that in this medrash with Turnasuvus HaRasha's father. What happens is Turnasuvus HaRasha is very, very upset. He's like he wants to know what's going on. So he decides he's going to do some investigation, and so he did some sort of a kishuf, and he brought up his father from the grave. And he tells his father something that sounds very sarcastic. During your life you didn't keep Shabbos. All of a sudden when you die you're going to keep Shabbos? Amos is avidus you die? Since when are you a yid? Now, it might be a cute joke, but here we're talking about his father burning in Gehenom. I mean, his father was probably pretty happy that Gehenom wasn't in the pain of Gehenom during Shabbos. Where does this sarcasm come from? And his father's answer is even harder to understand. Whoever doesn't keep Shabbos in the real world, in this world, kitikna, as it's supposed to be, he comes to this world, to the world to come, umishamra bal korchoi, and he has to keep Shabbos against his will. Against his will? Why shouldn't anybody want to be protected from the fires of Gehenom during Shabbos? What's this against his will? So I want to say that there's a fundamental difference in between, the math is different for a yid and a goy. For a yid, Shabbos, the Gehenom not burning on Shabbos is a tremendous chesed, and it's a tremendous shmira, and it's something that should be cherished and something that we should look for. But for a goy, it's just more pain. And why is that? Because a yid knows that he's only going to be in Gehenom for 15 years. For 12 months. There's a cutoff date. It's only 12 months. So if he's only in Gehenom for 12 months, that's Parshas Yisrael, only in Gehenom for 12 months. So any day you take away, any Shabbos that you don't have the fire burning, is relief. That's great. And Shabbos does that. If you Shem Shabbos, Shabbos protects you. But by a goy, there's no cutoff, and he has to sit in Gehenom as long as it takes. He wants to get it all over with as soon as possible. So if they turn off the fire on Shabbos for a goy, that just means pushing off his din for another day. Every day that they put off the fire, he's not interested. He wants to keep it going. He wants to get it over with. Obviously it hurts, and obviously it's painful. But turning it off for any day is no help for a guy. Because it doesn't save him. He doesn't get any relief from it. Because it's just going to push. It's just going to make him have to suffer for longer. And to the contrary, it's inei adin. It schleps things out. It takes things long, makes things longer. So for a yid, Shabbos does that. If you Shomer Shabbos, Shabbos protects you, but only if you Shomer Shabbos. But for a guy, the fact that Shabbos is not going to burn, the fact that the fire is not going to burn, it's not a chesed, it's not a maila. That's the mishamra ba'koche. That's what Turnasuvus HaRasha's father, Turnasuvus Harasha asked his father, he says, what are you doing? Why don't you just get this over with? He says, what could I do? If you're not Shem Shabbos, Bolikan, Umishamar Bal Korchoi. But that's only a guy. A yid, by a yid, if he's not a Shem Shabbos, he doesn't have the protection, and he has to, and he Leilenu still has the Gehenom. If he's not Shem Shabbos, he still has Gehenom on Shabbos.